Hello and welcome to your GMan Season 16 Division 5A Match of the Week recap with me, Lord Sigmund. So, this week... it's for week 6 of course. So, our games this week. First up we have an admin win. Legion again has disappeared. So that was a 1-0 win to the Amazons, so we'll skip over that one for now. Then we have Hindi's Red Fang Elite Warriors versus Murphy's Chem Killers. The Orcs versus the Khemri. Correct prediction for me, but not as close as I thought it might be. Same amount of blocks for each team, similar amount of blocks for each team, but the Orcs have over double the armor breaks and exactly double the removals with 2 knockouts, 2 kills and 6 injuries versus 1 knockout, 1 kill and 3 injuries. The Khemri have a very sad possession stat as well, but again they've got some sorely needed SPP. Past the MVP, they've got another 7 MVP SPP there, so that's good for their development. So, after watching the recap, the Khemri choose to receive and induced a different style this week. One I've never seen before: humorous, strength 2, agility 3, movement 7, skeleton with dodge, catch and nerves of steel. Murphy killed the troll on the line of scrimmage on the first turn, which Hindi used the apothecary on to no casualty, thankfully, for him. But a good start for Murphy, and even better, he managed to pick up the ball with the Tomb Guardian, fronted cage on the line of scrimmage. So he picked it up with the throw rod, but he put it in a Tomb Guardian fronted cage. In response, Hindi kills a Tomb Guardian with his blitz, but luckily for Murphy, that one regenerated. On turn 2, Murphy runs his star player catcher down the opposite side of the pitch to where his cage is, leaving it very exposed and vulnerable for an AV 7-star player in my opinion. He moves the cage sideways a bit the same way, but then for some reason uses one of his front cage corner guardians for the last action blitz, leaving a clear path to sack his ball carrier. And Hindi easily gets the sack with a reroll on the block. Small hope for Murphy sees the ball scatter away from the Orcs, but realistically there's only blitz rolls available to pick it up. Hindi also bases up the Khemri star, who's still pushed towards the end zone with 2 Orcs. Murphy manages to block the fallen throw roll clear though, and retrieves the ball with it, but he stands in the same cage though, which is still partially based up. The based up cage means Hindi's again able to get the sack on the ball carrier, and this time the throw roll gets stunned. Next set of turns sees a scrum over the ball, with 13 players from both teams in a big group near the ball. Some good scatters for the Orcs, and an Orc push sees the ball freed on one side and retrieved by the AG4 blitzer. Well safe from Khemri players unless they go for a dodge. They do make the 4+ dodge though, and get a mocking blitzer onto the ball carrier. Some more excellent alt pushes get a blitzer free from the scrum to clear the ball carrier on Hindi's turn 5, and it runs down to the Khemri end zone. Right before Hindi kills another Tomb Guardian, who fails to regenerate this time. Thankfully, silver lining, it had 0 SPP, so Murphy's not lost any development, but that's going to need replacing. Amusingly enough, it rolled dead for both its injury rolls because they've got decay. Styling a bit on Murphy, Hindi makes a handoff with a reroll to a 14 out of 16 SPP Black Orc on his turn 6 and goes to the turn 8 stall out. Murphy punishes the stall by killing a guard blitzer on turn 8 though, and making the dodge he needed to mark the ball carrier up. But he fails the second go for it, and Hindi gets the turn 8 touchdown on a Black Orc, no less, to enter the second half 1-0 up. The second half sees 9 Orcs set up against a full Khemri team though, with the Orcs attacking, and they get a quick snap to boot, catching the kick. Hindi gets a bit greedy and picks a both down result on the Troll's line of scrimmage block, badly hurting itself, but killing a skeleton to get the SPP it needs to level up. On turn 10, Hindi runs the ball back away from the line of scrimmage, presumably not wanting to risk the line of scrimmage scrum, leading to him losing the ball, and being in the lead he has no pressure to score. The Khemri turn 10 doesn't last long with a 4th action failed block after using the reroll and a failed blitz from a Tomb Guardian for their 3rd action, the 1st and 2nd action simply being stand-ups. The next turn sees similar bad luck for Hindi. The blitzer that was part of the turnover failed block last turn. One dice block blitzes the remaining skeleton, marking it, and rolls a skull, re-rolled into another skull. Literally any other result would have been fine to free that blitzer. On his turn 11, Murphy, with a total FU to that blitzer, fouls it with 5 assists, but only stuns it. But to do so, he forgoes setting any screens and leaving a massive hole in the middle of his pitch. Hindi sees the hole and runs the ball forward to threaten a second touchdown. On turn 13, he runs the ball carrier into the Khmer half, but it's unprotected, and Murphy has lots of free players nearby. He's able to get the sack with a Guardian and a throw or retrieval, but with no real support for it, and Hindi easily gets the return sack, but he can't retrieve it until turn 15. He uses his last reroll to dodge another blitzer into a scoring threat position for turn 16. And he makes it. Murphy's unable to sack the ball carrier or the scoring threat, and the turn 16 handoff cements the 2-0 win for Hindi. Not down and out completely though. Murphy manages a turn 16 vanity pass to his star player for the extra bit of SPP before the game ends. Dominant showing by the Orcs here. Well done, Hindi. And congratulations on getting some SPP development there, Murphy. So next up we have Best Luck is Bad Luck, Right Fools Dark Elves versus CBR Mansa C, Glandatus Humans. An incorrect prediction for me, the Humans didn't manage to get the win this week. And not a very bloody game at all. 10 versus 6 armor breaks. Similar possession stats for both teams, but with a slight edge to the Elves on removals and Humans on possession. And the similar match shows by the even scoreline. So looking at the replay, the Elves choose to kick and the Humans get a touchback. They make a loose cage for it behind the Ogre on the line of scrimmage, and the Elves make a screen in front of it for defence. Turn 2, the Humans relocate their cage to the other side of the pitch, but the Ogre fails its bonehead. The Elves easily relocate their screen to the other side of the pitch as the teams are both avoiding basing up too much. Same thing happens on the next two sets of turns, with the ball ending up 3 squares into the Elf half by turn 4. The Elves make a more proactive move on their turn 4, basing up the front of the cage and blitzing one of the corners to base up the ball carrier. The Humans feed the ball carrier with a blitz, reforming the cage back on the line of scrimmage behind the Ogre, but pushing a catcher through to scoring threat position. With only 7 Elves left on their feet able to move on turn 5, they are unable to form a wide screen, and the Humans manage to push a cage around it 6 squares from the end zone on turn 6. The Elves are able to blitz a cage corner and base up the cage a bit, but it's not a very strong defence, and a couple of Human dodges, one needing a reroll, gets them a turn 7 touchdown, leaving turns for the Elves to equalise. That opportunity is lost though when, having already used the team reroll for 1 on a handoff, then rolls another 1 for the 3+ pass needing to score. The Human kick lands right by the Elf end zone and the Elves retrieve it straight away. For the second half, both coaches spend the first 3 turns screening each other off and avoiding basing up too much again, with the ball held well back. In turn 12, Right Fool makes a push down one flank and gets a blitzer into the Human half as a scoring threat. The Elves cage up midfield on turn 13, but the Humans manage to chain push their own Ogre into base contact with the ball carrier. The Ogre only gets a push, but is enough to open it up for a blitz sack. Dandete fails the 3+ pickup though, and the ball scatters into 2 Human tackle zones. A good push and scatter frees the ball though, and the Elves are able to manage to get it back on turn 14, and some lucky 3+ dodges are able to screen it off. 2 go for it enables Dandete to get the sack though on the next turn, but a bad scatter leaves the ball with only 1 Human tackle zone on it, and it's a strength 2 catcher, which doesn't stop Right Fool from getting it back, and a failed sack blitz from the Humans on turn 15 lets the Elves equalise on turn 16. Dandete doesn't try for the 1-turn touchdown attempt though, and the game ends with a 1-1 draw. Bit of bad luck for the Elves there, not getting the equaliser at the end of the first half. Could have easily been 2-1 to them, which would have been against my prediction, but it would be nice to be seeing a win for one of the teams rather than a draw. And last but not least, we have the Trailer Park Boys, Saddam's Chaos Team versus FC Ammenstein, Homoseps, Pro Elves. A sad day for the Pro Elves here. They're picking up their first loss of the season. And bad day for me because I didn't predict it correctly. Not a good week for my predictions this week. So looking at the stats, 20 armor breaks versus 3 armor breaks. 6 KOs for the Chaos. This is none. 1 injury each though. 18 blocks succeeded versus 63. So the Chaos beats up the Elves. Only 18% ball possession as well versus 50. Yeah, no, the Chaos had a bit of a field day against the Elves here, I think. I mean, Hummersep's got to be happy that these were just KOs, not perms. But yeah, can't have been a fun game. So, looking at the replay, the elves induced a wizard and chose to kick, which I think was possibly the first mistake they made. As a pro elf coach myself, I find it easier to score in 2-3 turns by receiving them if you get to pick, and then only having to defend for 6 to 7 turns rather than a full 8 turns, which leaves you open for 2-1 grinding yourself. If you kick like Hummersep did, and then they score on turn 8, you are then left in the second half of trying to you have to score early for a start, so you have to score in 2 or 3 turns at the start of the second half, because otherwise you don't leave yourself an opportunity to steal the ball back and win. If you stall it out, you settle for a draw, which is not great. I mean, Hummersep could probably have taken it, being so far ahead, but it's still not great. So you receive if you get the choice, you score quickly, then you have most of a half to defend, but not as much as if you kicked. That's personally my preference against playing Chaos or Orcs. The Chaos get a line of scrimmage knockout on turn 1 and pick up the ball, but leave the AG4 Beastman ball carrier very alone near their own end zone, all other players being on the line of scrimmage. Hummersep takes advantage of that by running players into the Chaos half, dividing the team. Excellent choice, including putting a catcher in scoring range with 2 go for it's, and after achieving that, ends the turn by bolting the ball carrier with a wizard, which unfortunately doesn't break armor. That I wouldn't have done. I would have saved the definitely saved the wizard for the second. Well, I suppose if I'd been receiving, I would have used it on the second drive where the Chaos were attacking, but I would have not used it when the ball is that far back. On his turn, Saddam runs some players back to mark up the forward elves, and then retrieves the ball with the same bolted Beastman, before passing the ball forward to a supported rookie Chaos Warrior. Having no guard, Hummersep goes for the uphill red block against that warrior with his tackle blitzer, but it re-rolls a pow push. Pow push into a pow skull, and because Saddam gets to pick that skull, injures it, badly hurts himself. On the turn 3 uphill blitz goes better though, and a reroll gives Hummersep a pow stagger roll, but then he fails to pick up, and the ball scatters in the middle of 2 Chaos Warriors and 3 elves. The Chaos aren't able to free the ball on their turn, but they do knock down an awful lot of elves. Turn 4 sees the elves get a single die blitz push onto the ball to scatter it with a catcher, but that catcher follows up into 3 Chaos tackle zones in a scrum and catches the bounce with Nerves of Steel, leaving the ball held but in the least safe place possible. Saddam gets pushes with those 3 marking players though, and needs to use the blitz to sack the ball carrying elf. He then tries to retrieve the ball after knocking down pretty much every elf player, but fails a 3+ dodge needed to do it, and Hummersep rolls a 6 to catch the ball on a base of adjacent thrower. On turn 5, Hummersep gets the dodge away with that thrower, and the pass to a based up catcher on the other side of the pitch, but fails the 3+ dodge out for that catcher, rolling two 2s and leaving the ball out in the open, and all but 1 elf based up and ready for a punching. And a punching they get. They only have 5 elves left to move on turn 6, and only 2 of those start on their feet. It's enough though, as Hummersep gets the 1D pow on a blitz to sack the ball carrier, but isn't able to pick it up as it lands into Chaos tackle zones. Saddam picks it up on turn 7 and runs it into scoring range with a bit of screening. Hummersep's unable to blitz it, and Saddam scores on turn 8 to go 1-0 up for the second half, as Hummersep doesn't attempt a 1-turn touchdown to equalise in the first half. So, yeah, 8-turn touchdown on drive, perfect for the Chaos. Will be difficult, and we can see from the scoreline that it did end up in a 2-1 grind because of that. The second half sees 10 elves facing a full Chaos team. Hummersep gets the ball and passes it forward immediately, caging it up on the sideline halfway down the Chaos half, after making a hole on the line of scrimmage. Saddam's able to base up the ball carrier, but only gets a push on the cage corner, leaving Homicep an avenue to open up a scoring path on turn 10 and move right next to the end zone. They decide to stall out a little bit though, and Saddam's able to make a 2+ dodge, a 3+ dodge, and 2 go for it's to blitz and sack the ball carrier. It takes a reroll dodge, but Homicep's able to blitz that beastman marking the ball, which is in the end zone, but then inexplicably pushes it onto the ball, risking it bouncing out and scattering well away from their scoring opportunity. I have to think it must have been a misclick though, because luckily for him it bounces the other way and he's able to score the equalising touchdown on turn 11. But that leaves 6 turns for Saddam to win the game, while Homiceps only have 5 turns to steal the ball while being 1 player down with no wizard left. The Chaos move up and the Elves respond by trying to get a mark on the ball carrier, but fail a dodge needed. Saddam then uses that opportunity to cage up in the middle of the Elf half on turn 12. Homicep opens a cage corner with a 1 dice push and then goes to the 1 die blitz with a blitzer to sack the ball carrier, who doesn't have block, but he unfortunately rerolls a push into a skull, and that's the end of that. Saddam's able to run the ball carrier to safety, well screened off. Homicep's only chance is a 1 die blitzing the ball carrier again, with 4 2+ dodges, but he fails the go for it needed to get into base contact. On turn 14, Saddam consolidates his position for the stall out to turn 16. Homicep leaves his elves on the ground to spare them more injuries, and Saddam scores on turn 16 to win 2-1. Sad game for the elves. Lots of 1 die blocks and blitzes there against Chaos Warriors. I do think they set themselves up for a failure though with the 2-1 grind by choosing to kick rather than receive at the start. Bad luck and terrible dice did him no favours though. Which means we have no change this week for Homicep's Hall of Fame. Still just the Chaos Dwarves, the Humans, the Khemri and the Dark Elves that are lying underneath his boots. Let's hope we get one more addition to this next week. So, yeah, we'll look at the standings then. So, this week leaves FC Amstein at the top still with 13 points, with 4 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss now. We have the Trailerbot Boys coming second, closely followed by CBL Manchester City and Best Luck is Bad Luck, all on 11 points, with 3 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss. With a slight edge to the Chaos team, who have a touchdown difference of 3 versus 2 for the others, but if those end up even, then we have slight advantage to the Humans with 9 touchdowns as well. But very close to the top. All of these teams have a chance of making play-ins. And then the other half of the division, we've got the Red Fang Elite Warriors on 8 points, got Malison's Underland on 7, got Chem Killers at the bottom with 1, and even though they're now missing, we've got the KSO Bulls on 3 points in 7th. So let's have a look at the Impact Hall of Fame. So Magio, the human catcher from CBL Manchester City, is still at the top with 6 touchdowns, doing it for him really. Then we've got 2 Dark Elf players in 2nd and 3rd, with 42 and 41 points respectively. Yep, that catcher with 6 touchdowns is top of the top scorers. Next closest is those 2 Dark Elf players at 3 each, and then we've got a load of other players at 3 each actually, but no, with twice as many touchdowns as any other player. Magio's right at the top. Top blockers dominated by the Orcs. 4 of them in the top 6 positions. Only the Minotaur from the Chaos team really showing up. So next we have the Killers, with the Minotaur still on 3 kills, Orc and a Tomb Guardian on 2 kills each now. Yeah, Orcs did some good killing this week, so that gets added to the list. And then we have a running away with the most casualties caused, Bad Arrow, the Black Orc, Mighty Blow, Block Mighty Blow, Black Orc on the Red Fang Elite Warriors. Still nobody with 2 serves, but lots of players with 1 serve each. So let's have a look back at the teams as they stand then. So, FC Amstein this week. No injuries for them, only lots of no permanent injuries, only lots of KOs for them. And Bratmatza, don't know how you pronounce that. A lineman gets plus agility from the MVP. So possibly a little star turn here for this lineman. Let's hope he survives long enough to get dodge and block. Trailer Park Boys, no changes for these guys. Lots of skill points, but no skill ups, no injuries. Still have one Chaos Warrior that's 2 skill points away from leveling up here. And one Beastman that's 2 skill points away from leveling up here. So should be quite doable. Same for Best Luck is Bad Luck. No skills, no injuries for them this week. No changes. Bolt Magnet needs another 4 skill points to level up. And 1 for this lineman that got an MVP down here. And 3 a touchdown for Gets Guard and Dies. Would be a good idea. Probably with movement up, sidestepping would be a good thing. But they also need some tackle on this team. Red Fang Elite Warriors. Team that had the most changes this week. So first up, Grunt the Troll gets guard from a casualty, finally skilled up. Bad Arrow, the Star Black Orc, got 4 casualties this week, 4 of them, and gets guard as a result. 34 skill point Black Orc in a Division 5 team. That's amazing. Mid-table finish looking like for Hindi, but good development for the next season for this team. And Rabbit another Black Orc got a touchdown and a casualty, which gives it mighty blow as well. Short tilt though, the guard blitzer that was down here died, which isn't great. Chaos of Bulls, nothing changed. Admin loss, no, didn't show up. Chem Killers, no skill ups for them unfortunately, and conspicuous absence up here, missing one of its Tomb Guardians. And one of its skeletons. Aminita Nebank, the rookie Tomb Guardian, and Apar Maor, the rookie skeleton, died. I don't know if they've been replaced. Well, the skeleton might have. Yeah, I think the skeleton got replaced. Yeah, maybe the skeleton was replaced. I can't tell. Let's have a quick look over here. Having a quick look at the spike bot for the team. No, all the skeletons on the team have start player points, so not be replaced. Oh no, that's it. He has picked up a second throw raw. This guy. Memher Apoepis is a new guy. So yep, second throw raw. First one, unfortunately not got any skills yet, but yes. Picked up a second one. Get a bit of skill points. Get a bit more sure hands on the team. Humans, no change for them either. No skill ups, no injuries. See who would look at. This throw is 1 skill point away from leveling up. Presumably going to get something like block or dodge. Bit of protection on there. Perhaps even leader. Get rid of a team roll to reroll. Not sure. Anybody else? Yeah, this blitzer is 1 skill point away from them, and this catcher 1 skill point away. So should really be able to get three level ups. Maybe get some human vanity passes going. Yeah. And Stupid Babu Malice in Sunderland. No injuries because they didn't play a game, but the MVP, one of the touchdown that they got from the admin game landed on Mouse here, who picks up block. And look, we have a new team. Replacing Chaos of Bulls, we have the Rebel Blue Wings, Gorida de Kazan's High Elf team, who have come from Ramp Up. They played 3 games in Ramp Up, lost 1, won 2. against. Oops. They lost a game against some Dark Elves. They beat a human team. Human team? No, it's a vampire team, that one, isn't it? Yeah, it's a vampire team. And beat some Chaos Dwarves as well. Excellent. So let's have a look at these guys. So we have dodge on a catcher, and we have dodge on a blitzer, but apart from that, fairly vanilla. Because they are high elves, they only start with 2 team rerolls, but they've bought the apothecary since. So I would imagine the next game we'll see the 3rd reroll get bought there. And they're probably going to be looking to level the 2nd blitzer, maybe level the 1st blitzer, and maybe get a vanity pass on this lineman to pick up a kicker, probably. I'd pick up a kicker, but some people don't like kick first. But I don't like playing elves without a kicker. So yeah, nice to see another elf team in the division. They are going to be playing. Let's see who they're going to be playing. Let's see what the matchups are for next week. So, week 7, last week for this division. We've got the Chemkillers versus Malice in Zonderland. Ooh. I think Stupid Puppy might end up going back to their 1-1 draw ways, go back to tradition, so I think we'll see another draw here. And it's the humans that get to play against the Rebel Blue Wings. Possibly a silver lining for them. If they were playing the KSO Bulls, they would get a win, which would put them at 14. Just give me 1 second, we'll have a look at the leaderboard a second. Which would put them at 4-2-1. It will put them at possibly in the running for top of the division if the Elves win. Sorry, if the Elves lose their week 7 game. But it would only give them 1 touchdown, which, if we have a look at the here, would only give them 1 touchdown, which, as they are currently on 2 touchdown difference, would put them to 3. And if the Trailer Butt Boys or Best Luck is Bad Luck win and got 1 more touchdown, it would mean the humans, more than 1 extra touchdown, it would mean the humans didn't stand a chance. So by giving them an actual match against some high elves, it gives them the opportunity to do better than 1 touchdown win against an admin team. So yeah, I think it's good for them. Give them the opportunity to win, get top of the division. Then we've got FC Amstein, the Pro Elves versus Red Fang Elite Warriors, the Orcs. Ooh. Oh, I did make a prediction. I think the humans will take it here. They are a lot more developed than the High Elves, but the High Elves are going to get a bit of inducements out of that. Sort of inducements are we talking about? We are talking 510k inducements, so possibly good for the Elves, but I still think the humans will take it. So, prediction: Orcs versus Pro Elves. I think the Pro Elves aren't going to lose it, I'll put it that way. I think they have a good chance of winning. I do like playing Orcs as Pro Elves, and they do not have any tackle on that Orc team. A lot of Mighty Blow though, so he's going to have to play very carefully and stay away from the Orcs. And last but not least, the Trailer Pot Boys versus Best Luck is Bad Luck. Ooh. I want to root for the Elves. I don't want Chaos. I don't want Chaos to win the division. Or have a chance of winning the division, so I'm going to root for the Elves here as well. Might prove bad for me, but hey ho, it's the end of nearly the end of the division. So I briefly mentioned it before, but this is going into the last week, so we have to see who has the chance of getting into play-ins, looking for that opportunity to reach playoffs on their first season. So I think we can't say anything without first mentioning the Pro Elves. So the Pro Elves, the Chaos team, the Humans and the Dark Elves all stand a chance. All other teams don't really, I'm afraid. If the Pro Elves get a win, they qualify with an unbeatable 16 points. If they draw, they'll have 14 points and a touchdown difference of 6. Even if one of these three teams win and put them even on points, I don't think they'd score the 4+ touchdowns that they need to the 4+ touchdowns that they would need to beat the touchdown difference. Well, 4+ touchdowns over their opponent to beat the 6 touchdown difference that FC Emmenstein has here. So even if the Pro Elves draw, I think that they're going to still secure top spot here. If the Pro Elves lose, though, it all changes. If the Chaos Humans or Dark Elves win, they have a chance. And obviously, playing each other, the Dark Elves and the Chaos, one of them is going to win. A loss or a draw from them is not enough to match the Pro Elves on points, though. If a loss or draw would leave them 11 or 12, which is still below the Pro Elves 13 if they lose. If more than one of them win and the Pro Elves lose, then it comes down to touchdowns. The Humans or Dark Elves need to win by at least 2 more touchdowns than the Chaos team, otherwise the Chaos team will get the spot, as the Humans and Dark Elves have a touchdown difference of 2 versus the Chaos is 3. If they end up with the same touchdown difference, then the Humans have the slight edge with currently 1 more touchdown than the Chaos team and 2 more touchdowns than the Dark Elf team. I'm quietly confident that Homosep has it in the bag though, being able to play for the draw I think safely, bar some crazy touchdown game from the Chaos, Dark Elf or Human teams. Gives him an advantage and he doesn't have to take too many risks to keep the top spot. So that's that's my recap done for the week then. This was week 6, we're going into week 7 now. That's the division, and then it's going to be play-ins or training grounds after that. So good luck in your final week of the division, guys. Happy gaming.